Larrabee ready for the action. Here's the lineup again for Marshall. Wade, Irvin, Epps, Henry, and Evans. And for the Wildcats of Villanova, Presley, McLean, Pinckney, McLean, and Dobbs. Marshall in the road green uniforms trimmed in white, and Villanova in the home white trimmed in blue. Villanova 18-11, making their 5th straight NCAA appearance. And it'll be the Wildcats against the Thundering Herd in the NCAA Mid-East Regional. Marshall making its first NCAA trip since '72, 5 straight for Villanova. And the opening tap controlled by the Thundering Herd, who are averaging over 84 points a game. And they waste no time in putting up the first shot. Laverne Evans hits.
Excellent ball fake by Evans to free himself up off the glass. Just a great penetrator, but he can also hit that outside shot.
And here's the press we talked about. It causes almost a turnover as Pinckney has to go into the corner to save it for Villanova. Here's Presley. First shot for the Wildcats is good.
Good move by Presley. Found the opening in the defense just inside the foul line.
Game tied at 2. We've played 30 seconds. Moorhead gets it up, and they'll set it up. This is Evans. Kicks it off inside. The shot up and no good. Battle for the rebound and out of bounds to Villanova.
Moorhead will play a straight man-to-man defense for the most part.
Marshall setting up in that full court pressure.
Full court man-to-man, they'll trap. There it is.
And getting it into front court is Dobbs. Feeds it off to Presley, try to go inside to Pinckney, hit the top of the backboard, and pulled down by Evans and Marshall. Thundering Herd on the run. They give it up to Henry. Henry all the way to the hoop, can't hit the shot. Rebound comes off to Presley of Villanova. Still tied at 2. McLean all the way into the lane. A collision and a foul. It's going to be called on Villanova's Gary McLean. His first foul, in fact, the first foul of the game.
Looked like Robert Epps had good position inside. Here's the penetration by the guard, McLean. And Epps in green, number 34, had position. No question on the call.
Marshall comes up court trying to break that 2-all tie. A little bit of pressure defense from Villanova.
Looks like a 1-3-1, three-quarter court pressure zone.
Wade moves for the basket, a whistle. I don't believe the basket will count. Let's see. No basket. And a foul on Villanova.
We'll get another look at it at the baseline.
Villanova foul, number 22, Gary.
Foul is on McLean, and quickly that's his second. The only 2 fouls of the game called on Gary McLean. Final score, Illinois State besting Alabama 49-48. The Southeastern Conference had 4 teams in the tournament. 3 of them have lost. And Kentucky yet to play tomorrow. Shot partially blocked by Presley and pulled down by Villanova, and a foul on Marshall.
David Wade on the rebound, guilty of the foul. Wade is a guy who really makes a difference. He's a local product from Huntington, West Virginia, on this Marshall Ball Club, and can really make an impression in a ball game, but at that time a little bit over-exuberant on the rebound and guilty of the foul.
Rick Huckabee, the Marshall coach in his first year, makes his first substitution. Sam Winley is in, 6'4" senior from the Queens, New York, averaging 5 points and 2 rebounds a game. Still a 2-2 tie. We played almost 2 minutes of this NCAA Mid-East Regional game.
Marshall man-to-man defense.
Dobbs with a shot. Won't go. Fights and gets his own rebound.
Good quickness by Marshall. You can't be lazy on your passes. You must snap them because they have such great quickness defensively.
Knocked out of bounds by Marshall. It'll go back to the Wildcats.
Good help side defense that time by the Marshall squad.
Dale Kelly, the official, representing both the Sun Belt and the Southeastern Conference. Pinckney gets the ball inbounds and is quickly fouled by Epps. Robert Epps has his first. That's the second against Marshall.
Robert Epps, a JUCO addition this year. The new coaching staff, when Rick Huckabee and company came in, they added 3 JUCO players last spring, Irvin, Epps, and Morris, to this Marshall team. And the JUCOs have supplemented the talent that was already there, and they've had a fine season.
Pinckney kicks it off nicely to Dobbs, who draws the foul.
Good pass by Pinckney. So often you're tempted to go right into the bucket from there, but Pinckney really found a man who had a much better shot at the baseline. Watch this. Pinckney's a great athlete. Made the decision in the air, and then set up his teammate for a better selection inside. He was fouled.
Epps committing the foul, a second on Epps, and 3 now against the Thundering Herd. With 17:49 remaining in the first half. That's Epps with his second. Dobbs at the line. He'll shoot two. First one on its way and good for Frank Dobbs. He's a 6'4" senior, native of Pittsburgh, and averages 10 a game for the Wildcats, and a good free throw shooter at about 80%.
He's the guy who has been one of the keys to Villanova turning things around. When he came into the starting lineup, which is about 18 games ago, they've won like 14 of those games.
And the Wildcats have their first lead. They're up 4-2.
Looks to be a 1-3-1 zone now by Villanova.
Henry handles the ball, gives it to Winley. Winley drives baseline, reverse layup, a beauty. Winley off the bench for two in the Marshall lineup.
Boy, he found the baseline wide open behind the zone defense that time.
4-4 tie. Villanova breaks the pressure defense. They'll get a good shot. It's a stop by McLean.
I'll tell you, textbook maneuver against the zone. Just keep passing it, and they hardly let it touch the ground.
Villanova back by two.
Villanova handling the pressure so far, Tom, very well.
Winley double teamed by the sideline. Finally gets rid of it to Wade. And a foul inside called on McLean of Villanova. Dwayne McLean has his first three now against the Wildcats.
Villanova handling the pressure very well. That's something we wanted to watch early. But right here, defensively, there's McLean, number 33. Let's see if he does bump him early. Looked like he did.
And David Wade will go to the free throw line for Marshall. Best defensive player on the team is number 2 on the squad in steals, number 3 in scoring. He was on the second team all-tournament squad in the Southern Conference. Rims out, he'll have another.
Well, I tell you, they had a heck of a game against Tennessee Chattanooga, 111-107, and one of the Southern Conference officials here at tonight's game is telling me it's a very good defensive game.
Wade misses both free throws. He's the only Huntington native on this team and went to Fork Union Military Academy where he played with a young man named Melvin Turpin, who is on the University of Kentucky squad and their leading scorer. 6-4 lead for the Wildcats of Villanova. They have the basketball. 16:38 to play first half. A steal by the Thundering Herd. Wade kicks it to Winley. Oh, he missed the stop. Wade follows and gets it.
Wade did a marvelous job in triggering that fast break off the steal, and a bit of an embarrassing moment for Winley right here. Let's watch it. Here they come out on the break. Winley's going in all by himself, and he just came up short on it. Wade had the presence of mind to pick up and play it home.
He'd like to dig a hole and climb in it right now, but no harm done as Wade follows in a 6-6 tie. Villanova against the Thundering Herd defense. Dobbs won't go. Tap up and out of bounds by McLean. It'll go to Marshall as the Thundering Herd gets Sam Irvin back into the game. Irvin, the 6'5 junior, a native of Birmingham, Alabama, averages 9 a game for the Thundering Herd.
Thundering Herd playing a kamikaze-type defense, it looks like. We'll amplify on it as they set up again.
Looks like Villanova in a zone.
Looks to be that 1-3-1, or at least now shifting back into a 3-2.
That's Laverne Evans hitting the beautiful outside shot. He is a 52% shooter, averages 20 a game. He has 4 to give Marshall a 2-point lead.
We've seen him score inside, now he scores outside. Excellent ball player.
Here's Presley, flips it to Pinckney. His shot is good. It'll count, and he's fouled. Again, they get the easy shot off the press.
They have really handled the press well, and this Marshall team is one of the best pressing teams in the country. They come out of a very strong conference, I feel, and they've done a good job of their press, but Villanova's been tremendous in breaking the press and attacking, Tom. So often you'll see a team pull up and not attack and set up into their offense. Villanova's going right to the bucket here with Presley on the pass to the weak side, and then Pinckney with the tough shot.
And his free throw is good. So Pinckney completes the 3-point trip. He has 3 in the game now, his first points, and Villanova's up 1 at 9-8. Don Turney into the game for Marshall, 6'8 junior from Covington, Kentucky, averages 10 a game. Here's a foul on Villanova. It'll be whistled against
like
the Wildcats. Dwight Wilbur, yes, Wilbur into the game as a 6'2 sophomore from Patterson, New Jersey. Commits his first foul. That's 4 against the Wildcats.
One thing about Villanova defensively, Tom, the key word is multiple. Multiple defenses.
Rolly Massimino, who engineers those defensive strategies for the Wildcats in his 11th year at Villanova, 202 wins, 126 losses.
That's some pushing and shoving away from the ball. Looked like Irvin.
Sam Irvin is guilty of his first foul. And that's 5 now against the Thundering Herd. And it will turn it over to Villanova. Rick Huckabee, in his first year at Marshall, he was an assistant at LSU, came to Huntington this year and fashioned a 25-5 record. Most wins for a Marshall team in the last 32 years.
Here's the full court man-to-man pressure once again.
Villanova with the ball and a 1-point lead. They get it to Presley. Again, they breach the pressure. Presley takes it to the hoop and scores.
Presley is a key for Villanova in breaking the press. He moves well. He hits the right spot with passes, and he also makes good decisions on the break.
Dipsy doodle shot by Henry won't go. On the floor, picked up by Wilbur. Here's Wilbur. Moves to the hoop. No good. Rebound, Laverne Evans of Marshall. As the Thundering Herd comes the other way. Evans, spinning shot, goaltending call on Pinckney. Credited to Evans. Give him 6 in the game, and that pulls Marshall within 1.
Watch it again. Yep, Evans, there he goes on that bit of a slide move as he lets it go. And Pinckney, no doubt about it.
14:39 to play, first half. Timeout on the court, the score. Villanova 11, Marshall 10. Villanova holds a 1-point lead on Marshall, 11-10 Wildcats, with 14:39 remaining in the first half of play. Interestingly enough, Wayne, Villanova has never lost an NCAA opening round game under Rolly Massimino.
Rolly's had them here 6 times, and they've won their first round game all the time. I'm impressed. Marshall, I think, is handling the pressure of the NCAA tournament very well.
And speaking of handling the pressure, Villanova has handled the pressure defense of Marshall with ease.
Oh, you are so right.
Here's a pushing foul called inside on Marshall. Let's see who it's whistled against.
Marshall foul number 43.
It is on Turney. First on Turney. He was away from the ball. And it's the 16th foul on the Thundering Herd. Gary McLean back in for the Wildcats, and Wilbur goes out.
I think they're calling it fairly tight away from the ball. They realize there may be some pushing and shoving inside, and both teams like to get physical up front, and they're calling it kind of close.
Both teams shooting well in the early going.
57% for Villanova, 50% for Marshall.
Cross-court pass to Dobbs, who's open for the jump shot against that zone. Can't get it, but Pinckney off the offensive rebound gets his 5th point of the game.
Good position all the way for Ed Pinckney, not only to grab the rebound, but to execute the bank shot.
3-point lead is equaling the longest of the game for Villanova. Tom Hammond, Wayne Larrabee from the Mecca in Milwaukee. Mid-East regional action. There's a basket up and in by Don Turney of the Marshall Thundering Herd. To pull them within 1, it's 13-12 Villanova.
Turney is generally the first forward off the bench, and he's the team's second leading scorer, so he can add some punch to the attack.
Villanova working around the Marshall defense. Presley put his shot up, and somebody got him on the arm. It's going to be Sam Irvin.
Looked like Marshall was at a 2-3 zone that time.
Number 42, Sam Irvin.
For Irvin, his 2nd foul, and 7 now against the Thundering Herd. So with 13:34 left in the first half, Villanova's already in the bonus.
You mentioned it, boy. I tell you, Villanova's really handled this press very well, and this is a team, this Marshall Ball Club. They press a lot. They have great quickness defensively, and they like to fast break and run. Villanova is a team that likes to control the tempo a little bit more, but they've been able to break that pressure. They really came in very well prepared by Rolly Massimino and his squad.
David Wade was number 45, who replaced Irvin in the Marshall lineup. Presley missed the free throw. He'll have another. 6'7" sophomore, native of Mystic, Connecticut. He got it on the All-Big East 3rd team this year. He has 5 in the game. Villanova leads by 2, 14-12. Right in the teeth of the defense, Wade got room and laid it in.
Lost the dribble momentarily, but still had the presence of mind to make the pivot. Did not double dribble and went straight to the hoop.
Tied at 14. 13 minutes to play, first half. There's Dwayne McLean hitting from the outside. Pretty shot for number 4.
Maybe the best athlete on that team, they tell me. Looks like a 1-3-1 now, defensively for Villanova.
Or 2-3, maybe. They changed their defenses around a little bit. Never know what to expect. Nice pass inside and a foul as Winley went up. Well, they're going to call a jump ball. Not a foul, but a jump ball. And on the alternate possession, it'll go to Villanova. So a clean block, jump ball, and Villanova gets possession. There's the pressure defense from Marshall.
Man-to-man now in the backcourt.
And it causes a turnover as Dobbs dribbles on the sideline.
Good pressure by Laverne Evans. Just cut him off, and Dobbs ran out of real estate.
Robert Epps returns to the Marshall lineup, replacing Winley.
They make a lot of changes, Tom. They'll play about 12 members of that team. Will Marshall.
Knocked out of bounds by Connecticut. Marshall controls again in front court, right in front of the Villanova bench. Jeff Battle is in the game, dribbling the ball and kicking it back outside. Battle, a 5'10 junior. He's a native of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and leads Marshall in assists with 131 this season. Battle on the low post. Wade muscles in, no good. Try for the rebound. Presley finally claims it for Villanova. In front court, Dobbs lobs it inside. Flip it over to Presley, who scores. Good ball handling for the Wildcats.
Pinckney made a nice pass to Presley. Boy, Pinckney didn't have much right behind him. He just didn't have a good angle for the shot, but he had the presence of mind to get it over there to Presley.
Epps has it knocked away, but saved by Battle. Battle penetrates in the lane. Nice feed, and missing the shot was Turney. And Villanova's Pinckney comes down with a rebound. Had a wide open layup. McLean, good.
Villanova's got it going right now. They're 6-point lead. They're working it well against the pressure. They're controlling the boards, Tom.
And that's their longest lead of the game. The Marshall press has been ineffective against the Wildcats thus far. In fact, it's worked to Marshall's detriment because Villanova's gotten a lot of easy baskets.
Straight 2-3 now. Last trip down, they started in a 1-3-1 and then went to the 2-3. They'll do a lot of things defensively to confuse their opponents.
There's Battle with a nifty behind-the-back dribble and hits the short jump shot. Jeff Battle in the scoring column, and Marshall within 4. Rick Huckabee, the Marshall coach, down on one knee in front of his bench. Southern Conference Coach of the Year in his rookie season with the Thundering Herd. Foul on Battle, blindsiding McLean. Jeff Battle has his first. And we'll go to the Villanova free throw line for 1+1.
Battle reaching in from behind, just guilty of the foul. And it seems like whenever you reach in, whether you make contact or not, again, you'll be called for the foul.
Rod Nelson has come into the lineup for Marshall. He's number 12 in green. 6'3" senior from Birmingham, Alabama. Averages a couple of points a game. Playing at the free throw line for the Wildcats.
He's done a good job handling the ball against that pressure.
He is the assist leader with 154 this season. That's his first point of the game. He averages 7 a contest. Good free throw shooter, about 85% at the line.
Number 41.
Pinckney getting a rest and coming in Chuck Everson. He's a 7-foot sophomore.
Native of Brentwood, New York, he averages 2 a contest.
Somewhat limited. He's an inside player, but knows his role. That's been the key in the last 15 or so games for Villanova. Everybody knows their role.
McLean hits the free throws. The man that runs the show for the Wildcats is the 5th Villanova starter to score, and they're up by 6, equaling their longest lead. Battle trying to edge in against Villanova. Get it over on the side, and hitting the shot is Turney off the bench for 4 points now for the Thundering Herd.
Turney's shown a good outside shooting touchdown for a big man.
Marshall back within 4.
Pressure again and again. They seem to have got the right plan for the Marshall full court pressure defense.
Reaching the midway point of the first half. Steal by Battle. Battle still on the move. Bounces it to Nelson and hits the shot. Rod Nelson in the scoring column. Marshall getting some good play off the bench.
They really are. They're deep. They play a lot of people. I mentioned they'll play 12 people here tonight, at least.
Ronnie Massimino in front of the Villanova bench. Here's a turnover against the press.
First time they've had really any kind of trouble against that press.
Battle all the way, no good. Presley hits it out of bounds to Marshall. Battle got a wide open layup, couldn't hit it. Probably should have taken it to the glass instead of trying to go straight in.
That hurts. Watch it again. Here's Battle on the drive. You see number 44 lay off him a bit, so he had the open jumper. I think Battle expected more pressure on that shot. And Presley was stepping on the baseline as he tried to save it.
Battle was too hard off the glass, and Marshall misses a chance to tie. Got a timeout. The score, Villanova 22, Marshall 20. This telecast is presented by authority of the NCAA, and any use of this program without written consent is prohibited. The announcers for this program have been approved and contracted by NCAA Productions. Marshall fans making the trip up from Huntington, West Virginia.
Villanova getting the baseline, obviously on Marshall and working it inside very well.
Inside game paying off for the Wildcats, who come up with a steal right there. They'll come up court with a 2-point lead.
Battle tried to force it inside that time. Villanova clogged the lane very well.
Everson travels. That'll turn it over to Marshall. Just couldn't find anyone to throw it to.
Moved his pivot foot as he looked around, and you can't do that.
Dwight Wilbur re-enters the Villanova lineup. Dobbs gets a rest.
Let's see what Villanova sets up in defensively. Looks like it's a straight 2-3. Maybe they'll go man-to-man here. It's a matchup man-to-man, it looks like.
Battle tried to throw it to Turney. Instead, threw it right to Villanova. Out of bounds, last touched by Battle. And Villanova comes up court. Marshall, some sloppy ball handling here recently. There's the turnover situation. Villanova has turned it over 3 more times than have the Thundering Herd. Wilbur looking inside as they're trying to post up Presley in there, and Pinckney on the other side. Now Wilbur throws it right to Battle. Here goes Battle for Marshall. Kicks it back outside to Nelson. Turnaround jumper off the glass too hard, and a rebound McLean of Villanova.
Villanova shooting 66%, 52% for Marshall so far.
Here's another traveling call. Presley called for steps, and Marshall will go the other way.
He shuffled a bit as he took that pass in the lane.
There's Rolly Massimino. 13th year as a head coach. 236 wins, 142 losses.
He's always up off that bench, but boy, when you've got a team changing defenses as much as Villanova does, you've got to be up instructing. Orchestrating, maybe. Better word.
2-point lead for Villanova. Outside shot by Turney is there.
Wow. I knew he was about 10 to 15 feet. Didn't realize it was 20 feet. He's had a good game from the outside so far.
He's got 6 points off the Marshall bench. Covington, Kentucky native, who is shooting 54% from the field. McLean to Pinckney. He got it.
Good pass inside of Pinckney. Pinckney's very dangerous in the lane, but he'll also pull up and hit a 15-footer.
Pinckney has 7, and Villanova seesaws back on top by 2.
Looks like right now straight 2-3 defense.
Battle. Round the horn, Turney again. Here's David Wade. Back out to Nelson. His shot off the mark. And comes right down to Epps. This inside again does Marshall, and Villanova rebounds. They got some good shots, couldn't get them down.
Wade kept it alive that last time, and they just couldn't find the hole.
We're in Milwaukee, where Villanova leads Marshall by 2 in the NCAA Mid-East region, and that'll turn it over to the Thundering Herd.
Marshall hanging in there, despite the fact that their #1 weapon going into this game, Tom, really didn't work out that way. The pressure has not bothered Villanova a whole lot. Marshall continues to apply it when necessary in the backcourt, but really it has not disturbed Villanova a whole lot.
Richardson in for Marshall, the 6'9" sophomore from Macon, Mississippi, averaging 4 points a game. Laverne Evans also re-enters the Thundering Herd lineup. That's Evans right there, being hammered to the floor by Pinckney.
Only the first on Pinckney. Obviously, they can't afford to lose him. Villanova goes about 7, maybe 8 players deep. We'll get another look at this here. Evans with the good move. Up high in the air, and Pinckney, who is one of the fine shot blockers in the Big East Conference, got a piece of it.
15 foul against the Wildcats. Sam Henry back in for Marshall. At the free throw line is Laverne Evans. 70% free throw shooter, hits that one for his 7th point.
Laverne Evans also, in addition to being a great scorer, good ball handler, has a knack for the offensive rebound. He'll slice in there and grab a few and pick up some buckets inside.
Evans scored 38 points against Tennessee Chattanooga in the Southern Conference Tournament Championship game, and he was MVP in that tournament. Sam Irvin back in, and Turney gets a rest for Marshall.
Well, that was just a great game of defensive execution and offense, because both teams played exceptionally well at both ends of the floor, from what we understand. What double overtime in that championship game.
Tennessee Chattanooga and Marshall with the Thundering Herd coming out on top. Here's McLean getting inside the Marshall defense and then traveling.
He saw his man down low a little bit too late, and as he stopped, he changed his mind. He was going to just pull up, and when he tried to make the move inside with the basketball, he shuffled his feet a little bit and is called for the traveler.
Marshall facing a zone defense put up by the Villanova Wildcats and looking for their first lead. Villanova's turned it over 12 times.
That's a straight 2-3 right now. Earlier they had a 1-3-1 zone. Several variations off that. Match up a little bit.
Marshall did lead early in the game, scored the first basket, I believe. Since then, it's been all Villanova. Saved a couple of times into the hands of Wade. He pulls up with a short jump shot that won't go. Irvin with a follow, got it.
Sam Henry kept it alive, though it could have been a turnover. Number 5 tapped it over into the lane, and Thundering Herd able to poke it through.
And Marshall has a 2-point lead, 26-24. Villanova beats the pressure. Presley gets it to McLean. And they'll set it up on the half court. What about that Marshall defense? Is it a 2-3?
Looks to be a 2-3 with matchup principles in the backcourt. Pinckney has to step up.
Pinckney set sail for the basket, and as he did, he was bumped by Marshall's Laverne Evans. First foul on Evans. Let's see the replay.
Get another look at it. Pinckney made a good move to get by Wade, number 45, and then Pinckney just tripped up in the lane. Marshall will play, for the most part, man-to-man defense. If they do zone, it'll be a matchup, and they'll play a lot of man-to-man principles in the backcourt, especially trying to put pressure on the guards and force the ball into the corners where they can trap.
Pinckney hits. Pinckney leads Villanova in scoring, in rebounding, in field goal percentage, in block shots. See, he averages almost 15 a game and shooting here for point number 9. Missed it. Rebound though to Presley. McLean. It's good.
Long rebound to Presley, and then he was able to find McLean with a nice pass in the paint.
Dwayne McLean now with 8 points. That's the score. Villanova by 1. Wade for the Thundering Herd. Nice pass right underneath to Evans.
Good timing between the two. They knew what they were going to do all along, and Evans able to slip behind the Villanova defense. Watch it again. Here's Wade waiting. Evans takes it on the floor and then off the glass.
Back to live action. Shot won't go by McLean. Batted twice, and it's a foul in there on Villanova. It's going to be called on McLean, and that'll be his second. Dwayne McLean with 2.
Number 33, Dwayne
and 6 now against Villanova.
The team 6.
Both teams making some changes, and now the Thundering Herd will make a couple of substitutions in here, I believe. They'd like to anyway.
Don Turney comes back in for Marshall, and so does Michael Dobson. That's Turney, 43. Dobson is 55. He's a 6'8 senior from Jamaica, New York, who averages 3 a game. There's Dobson. And that is, I believe, 11 players that have seen action so far for Marshall.
You need a turnstile to keep track of them all, in and out of the game.
Thundering Herd with a 1-point lead. Villanova 2-3 on the zone as Marshall goes into the attack. Evans, Henry in there, and a 3-second violation on Irvin, I believe. 3 seconds will turn it over to Villanova.
Yep, Irvin in the lane a bit too long. Now these officials, well, you got 3 officials out there. Normally they can hit everything, can't they?
They'll be happy to hear you say that.
Although the other night you had a situation where we needed a TV camera to help them out.
Sometimes you got to use everything at your disposal.
That's right.
Nice move to the hoop by McLean. He switched hands with it and laid it softly in for his 10th point.
Good movement across the lane. That's what Villanova likes to do some weaving in the lane, get that shot down low.
Wildcats by 1, 4:40 first half. There's the lob to Turney for the stop.
Super play. They've worked 2 lobs now. One to Laverne Evans, who was waiting for it on the floor, and this one, Turney did not come down until they put it through the hoop.
It's going to be a charging foul on McLean. Let's see if the basket will count. Dale Kelly makes the call. Foul is on McLean.
Number 33, Dwayne.
And it will go to Marshall. McLean committing his 3rd foul.
Irvin had position, number 42 in your picture in green, and there's the foul.
All right, we got a timeout. 4:25 first half. The score, Marshall 30, Villanova 29. Marshall leads by 1. Let's take a look at this lob inside to Turney.
Excellent pass from the backcourt. Good timing. Turney up high, and he just pokes it through.
And it'll be the Thundering Herds basketball after that offensive foul, player control foul by Dwayne McClain. The basket didn't count, and McClain guilty of his third foul. Live from the Mecca in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the Mideast Regional. Already tonight, Louisville a winner over Morehead State, 70-59. They'll play Tulsa on Sunday. The winner of this one will meet Illinois. Here's the 1-3-1 now from the Villanova defensive repertoire. Turney, he's had the outside shot going. Oh, he got a bounce off the front of the rim for his 10th point.
Number 43,
Turney has been the key off the bench. He has really picked up the scoring for them, being able to hit from the outside. They've had trouble going inside against Villanova.
Marshall has gotten 16 of its 32 points off the bench tonight. Turney does average 10 a game, and he's right on his average now. 3:40 to play in the first half. There's the shot that won't go from Presley's hand. Comes right to Pinckney. He muscles it in. Won't go. Battle for it, and finally claiming it is Evans of Marshall. There's a block and a foul on Pinckney. Well, he got the ball, but he got him with the body, too. I suppose anytime you reach from behind like that, it's almost an automatic call.
Seems like it is, and we're going to get another look at it. Let's see if he does make any contact with him from behind. And there it is right there.
Got him with the body, and the second foul on Ed Pinckney, 7th this half against Villanova.
Marshall hitting 50% of their shots in the field. Villanova 64.7%. Rebounding edge belongs to Villanova, 14-7.
Laverne Evans hits the free throw. He'll have another one.
You know, Marshall's only committed 5 turnovers. Villanova's committed 13.
Number 6 all-time scorer at Marshall University. Posting 1,600 points was Evans.
We talked about pre-tournament jitters for Marshall, their first time here since 72, and boy, they've got a 34-29 lead now, and I don't think there's any jitters about it.
That's their longest lead. Here's a foul. It's going to be a charging foul on Harold Presley. First foul on Presley, and again, Marshall will have possession with 3:17 remaining and a 5-point lead.
Well, I tell you, Michael Dobson did an excellent job of establishing position very quickly. As you look at Rolly Massimino on the Villanova bench, Dobson set up that play. He made it happen by establishing position and then taking the charge.
Sam Henry brings it up court for the Thundering Herd. Turney. And back to Henry. Looking inside for the lob. It wasn't there. Presley was ready for it. Dobson. Inside Turney. Knocked away. Good defense by the Wildcats. Presley knocked it away. Here comes McClain. Back to Presley. Feeds it inside and stolen by Laverne Evans of Marshall. They passed it one too many times.
Absolutely right. You can't get too cute on a drive like that.
Evans takes Wilbur baseline. Up and in. Beautiful play by Laverne Evans.
Well, I tell you, he has done a super job here tonight. Good penetrator, and we got a good example of how he can make that quick move to the baseline and watch this pull up and then go to the glass. Excellent athlete, great body control.
14 points for Laverne Evans. Marshall with its longest lead. They're up 7. Wilbur outside for Villanova. No good. Tapped in. Oh, tapped in by Presley. That was as strong an offensive rebound as you'll ever see.
Tremendous slam. There was just no question about it. He was going to get 2 points.
Turney outside for Marshall. No good. Tapped by Henry. Turney saves it, but right to Villanova. Another steal. Here's Laverne Evans. Puts it up, and it's in. Laverne Evans hitting off the steal. He has 16.
Laverne Evans, again, he is a big key to what Marshall does here tonight. They're playing very well right now.
7-point lead for the Thundering Herd. Battle for the rebound, and Irvin comes down with it. They're going to call a jump ball, Irvin and Pinckney. And the alternating possession, it'll go to Marshall.
Marshall off the bench has gotten 16 points. Villanova had no points off the bench thus far.
There's another man off the bench, Jeff Richardson of Marshall. Watch the replay on this one. Strong action under the boards.
Irvin with a tough rebound down low.
He and Pinckney came down with it together, ruled a jump ball, and the possession to Marshall.
Watch 32. There he is with the ball. He's 6 of 8 from the field right now.
Laverne Evans has 16 in the game.
I think they want to wait for one last shot. They pulled it out a bit here.
Minute 25 left in the first half. Henry dribbling. 2 players hawking him.
Trapping defense by Villanova.
Turney, Evans. Give it up to Richardson.
They're going man-to-man right now, it appears.
And here's Laverne Evans traveling. Couldn't quite get the handoff from Richardson under defensive pressure, and Marshall trying to hold it, turns it over with 1:09 to play first half.
Boy, they're keeping an eye on that pivot, but we've seen a couple of traveling calls here tonight.
Dave Pollock of the ECAC, Byron Johnson of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, Dale Kelly of the Sun Belt. Here's a pickoff again by Laverne Evans. He's fouled by McLean. Gary McLean has his third personal foul.
A foul of frustration by Gary McLean. He made a lazy pass, and he knew it. You can't afford to do that with the quickness of Marshall on the floor. Laverne Evans made the steal. We're going to watch it again. There's it, the steal as Evans comes away with it, and McLean trying to reach in and get it back.
And McLean goes to the bench with 3 fouls, replaced by Harold Jensen, 6'4" freshman from Trumbull, Connecticut, averaging 3 a game. This is Laverne Evans, who has had an outstanding first half for the Thundering Herd. Misses the free throw, however. That was his first miss after hitting 4 in a row at the line. There's a blindside steal, and then Presley gets it back. Takes it to the hoop and scores. Well, he had defensive men getting in there all the time and just overwhelmed them to the basket.
It wasn't pretty, but it was 2 points. I think Villanova will take it at this juncture of the game. They trail by just 5.
Presley, the Wildcats' leading scorer. He has 11 as the clock ticks down to 35 seconds in the first frame. 5-point lead for Marshall. Hurd will probably hold it here for the final shot of the half. Henry to Evans. Richardson.
They're in no hurry to attack this zone. Now they're matching up man-to-man.
See the clock ticking down. Now with 10 seconds remaining. Evans will take it one-on-one. All the way. Blocked by Presley and out of bounds. Good defense by Presley.
Great vertical leap does Presley possess, and he displayed it right there. He was up high to knock it away while the ball was on its upward trajectory.
All right, with 6 seconds left, Marshall will put it in play from beneath the Thundering Herd basket. Turney, Evans, 3 seconds, 2, Evans puts it up at the buzzer, yes! Laverne Evans with a jump shot under pressure as the buzzer sounds to give Marshall a 7-point halftime lead. Laverne Evans with 18 points in the first half, leading Marshall to that halftime margin. That's the end of the first half with a score. Marshall 40, Villanova 33. We'll be back after these messages with our halftime program. 40-33 count. Wayne Larrabee in that first half, it appeared that Villanova had things going their way. They were beating the Marshall pressure defense, getting some easy baskets, and led by as many as 6. And suddenly the game began to turn around. They did turn it over against the press, and Laverne Evans really went to work on the offensive end for the Thundering Herd.
Well, they've had some problems as far as moving it across at times go. Early in the game, early in the first half, I felt they moved it across with ease, as you pointed out on several occasions, and they really did handle it well. But even when they set up in their half-court defense, the Herd has great quickness defensively, and they were able to pressure and trap and force some turnovers. And also, I think Villanova, a few lazy turnovers that really didn't need to be committed. Just throwing the ball to the wrong man at times really hurt them a little bit in that first half. But with Laverne Evans certainly having a great first half with 18 points, and he was just sensational, they really executed well offensively, and that was the real key for the Thundering Herd in the second portion of the first half.
Well, with that great bench play he's gotten, Coach Rick Huckleby of Marshall, they can afford to play that pressure defense wire to wire because he's played 11 men and he's gotten a lot of good play off the bench.
Don Turney came off the bench, got him 10 points and provided the spark, and then Evans took off from there, and they've really done a super job.
So at halftime in the Mideast Regional at Milwaukee, it's Marshall leading Villanova 40-33. Let's pause now for a local station break. This is an NCAA Productions telecast. Tom Hammond and Wayne Larrabee from the Mecca in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where at intermission, Marshall has come from 6 points down to take a 7-point halftime lead. The Thundering Herd over Villanova, 40-33, riding the crest of a great first half scoring-wise for Laverne Evans, the 6'4" senior from Marshall, tallying 18 points in that first half.